Back in November, I awoke to sirens and screaming. I looked out of the window and the cops were everywhere, each of them either surrounding the yellow house across the street from me with their pistols drawn, or going from door to door evacuating my neighborhood. I couldn't even begin to tell you how surreal it was to hear the cacophony of gunfire that killed Gary W. As the whole neighborhood walked down the street, children's blankets dragging behind. Gary, the sweet old man who overpaid me to shovel snow in his driveway when I was a kid. Gary, the guy who gave full-sized candy bars on Halloween. Gary, the man who ran into a burning house to save a family's dog. The case was all over the national news. Woman escapes elderly serial killer in small Kansas town. Bodies in the basement. Gary W.'s house of horrors. Gary W. motivations appears to be ideological in nature, says police. I read it all obsessively, desperately trying to understand how a man I'd considered a friend my whole life could do the things he had done. Gary had grown up in that house and moved back in. He had inherited it from his parents. They found a total of 27 bodies spanning 50 years, meaning he began killing at merely 13 years old. The oldest few corpses were all middle school aged and were found buried in a rose garden, one I had helped him weed on more than one occasion. 5 more were found under a secret door in his floorboards. I felt sick knowing I'd walked over that door multiple times. The rest were found in boxes in his basement and bags full of lye. Boxes my mother had helped him stack when he's enlisted the family's help in organizing his basement after his beloved wife, Loretta, had died of ALS. It must have been months that his house was taped off. His escapees' bloody handprints weren't washed off for at least a week, and the blood pooled on his front porch when the gunfire stayed just as long. Today, I woke up to see Gary walking to his mailbox as always. I thought I was dreaming, but I felt all of the pinches I gave myself, and I couldn't wake myself up no matter what means I tried. I watched him from the window all morning as he tended to his yard as always. He even went to our neighbor's house to borrow a gardening tool. He didn't seem surprised at all to see him. I began to rifle through the memories. There was no goddamn way these details could be a dream. I watched from my window as they taped off the scene. I saw the first skull excavated from the dirt of the rose garden with my own 2 eyes. I had cried to my therapist, recounting hearing his death, struggling to understand how I could feel grief over a man so evil. I know it fucking happened. I searched the names of the 3 victims that had been identified. All were real missing people from my general area. All of them looked exactly as they had in the news articles I had printed out. It seemed to no longer exist in either my home or the internet. I had never seen them before Gary's crimes were exposed. I've been carefully watching Gary's movements all day. He recently retired, and he spends all of his time outside. If I really am crazy, or I really did dream this all up, how can I explain to him why I'm digging a gigantic hole in his cherished rose garden? How can I reasonably explain why I've broken into his home to explore his basement? He's an incredibly light sleeper. I know this because he was very nosy, would gossip about things he'd seen the neighbors do late at night. And when he's not asleep, he's wandering around. He never really sits down. Never since one of the neighbors showed him Instacart and Uber. He never leaves. Can I file a tip? Say I saw bodies in an old man's basement or something? The cops around here know Gary, so I doubt they'd believe it, or bother to check. And they know me too, so it would be impossible to do so anonymously. Do any of you have any ideas?